are trying to leverage electronic waste. We didn't see any need for us to be using plastic as our key resource. Next slide. Yes, we had to launch that product, we had to test the market, we have to take it out to customers. People were happy to use the product and paid for it. But it didn't end there because we were not satisfied. We're not really satisfied about the fact that, yes, we needed to utilize electronic waste, which is one of the mission and vision of the company. Next slide. So yeah, electronic waste. Electronic waste, I don't know if anyone understands the electronic waste. You know we have thick waste, we have bio waste, and this is electronic waste, which is for short, e-waste. Electronic waste is one of the fastest growing waste stream in Nigeria. It's said to be a $1 trillion worth of market, and only 17% is formally recycled. Electronic waste are things like your old TV, refrigerators, old computers, laptop, and the likes. So what we did is that we did some good R&D. Took us about 2 years to develop this lantern. This is called Idunu Portable Solar Lantern. I have a here, and you can see some at the back stage. This lantern is made from 70% electronic waste material. If you look closely, the entire body is derived from e-waste, even the screws and other components alongside the batteries. These batteries are taken from discarded laptop, gadgets, and other energy solutions. Next slide, please. So yes, these are some businesses that we've deployed this product to. We've actually manufactured and sold over 300 units. With Idunu Portable Solar Lantern, you could, thank you so much. With the lantern, you could provide its basic line and, of course, USB mobile charging. As you can see, this is how, and you can charge your phone with it. So this is where we are already. We grew from just myself and Alex Shitu to a team of about 9 persons. These are facilities somewhere in the Bujige, Lekki, Beju Lekki axis. So I just want to end up saying that together we can create a cleaner, safer environment. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, all the same, you can visit their platform or watch out for our YouTube channel. You'll see more video about Quad Loop, and today we release waste into the environment. And if there is a way we can manage our waste, we know that kind of things. If you look at the product he displayed right now, does it look anything like cracked wood? Disposed? Does it look? It still look new. It still look new. And that's the important thing about the future of man right now. We're talking about energy, we're talking about the climate, we're talking about sustaining things that we're doing. Because if you go out there, there's always a pile of waste. And if you can still remember there are still gadgets in your house. There are still phones, your BlackBerry still there. You're still hoping that one day BlackBerry is going to come back. And you put back the battery and use it again. Is that not so? So if you have something like that, is there any way someone can send items? So I think that's what you can as well. Let us know so that we can just forward it maybe for remuneration or not, but something like a compensation or something. But however, we can send forward it to you. Okay? Thank you very much. So thank you, Mr. Jose. You'll be coming up on stage much later. You'll be coming up on stage. So put down your questions, put them together. When it's going to be Ifedolak Onsewi, MD of Free, Recycle Innovating. Are you tired? Yes. Yes, so my apologies. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here on this stage, and it's happening a day after our Independence Day celebration. I was saying to someone yesterday that Nigeria needs just a second, sorry. Nigeria needs to stop exporting its people. You know that we have so many young, youthful people in the house today. I would just like to quickly share a short video. Some of us might have seen this, but still, just quickly like to share that before I dive into my presentation.
Recycle was founded with a mission to combat the environmental hazard of burning tires. The company innovated a sustainable solution in transforming discarded tires into eco-friendly products. By recycling rubber, Free Recycle Limited reduces pollution, cuts down on harmful emissions, and offers green alternatives to traditional products. Our milestone: February 2020, financial close with Investar 250 tire crushing line. March 2020, acquisition of 2 tile lines. This line produces rubber tiles of different shapes and sizes. March 2021, acquisition of mat making line. Free Recycle acquired the mat line to start producing rubber mat products. June 2022, additional tiles scaled up capacity to 3 times in production of 60 carts in a shift. October 2022, acquisition of a new crushing line. Free Recycle scaled up crushing capacity 5 times. March 2023, company made payment for the acquisition of a steel smelting furnace. August 2023, delivery of the steel melting plant to the facility. Our impact: health impact, 2,500,000 malaria cases prevented. Economic impact, 200 plus direct and indirect agents, 150 plus full-time employees. Environmental impact, 8 million kilograms CO2 emissions prevented. Social impact, 12 Zero waste recycling. We have optimized our recycling process to ensure that all the byproducts of the rubber tires are converted into valuable products. Sustainable product design. Our products are eco-friendly and sustainable alternatives to products that would traditionally use virgin materials. Partnership and collaboration. We have partnered with other industry leaders and voices to advance circularity principles. Energy recovery. Other constituents obtained from the tires that we recycle, such as fiber, can be used for energy recovery for both commercial, industrial, and residential purposes. Circular supply chain. We collaborate with corporate organizations and other consumers through our extended consumer responsibility program, sustainable product designs that suit the user's needs. Today, we are a beacon of change, turning waste into resources and paving the way for a cleaner and greener future. We present to you Free Recycle Limited Managing Director.
Thank you very much. Please permit me to introduce myself once again. My name is Ife Dolapo Shewe. I'm a climate and social entrepreneur in Nigeria, in Oyo State. From inception till date, we've recycled 150 full-time staff, as well as 250 indirect jobs also created across our value chain, from our collectors to our aggregators to also distributors of our finished product. Free Recycle operates a zero waste integrated model. Basically what that means is typically what you find is recycling of just the tires to semi-finished product. But we took it a step further because we're very impact driven. And we took it a step further by repurposing the semi-finished products from the recycled waste tires to new products like the ones you've seen in the video that we've just shared. At Free Recycle, innovation fuels our mission to minimize waste, maximize resource recovery, promote sustainable growth, and also empower communities. Innovation basically to us means creatively transforming waste management through technology. When Free Recycle came into existence back in 2020, it was right in the middle of COVID, and we had spent the first 2 years trying to develop a collection structure in Oyo State because it was basically non-existent. So we spent about 2 years before we commenced operation, building a network of collectors, scrap collectors who collected these tires, aggregators, as well as logistics partners whose jobs were to ensure that these tires get to us. But over time, we had to look at this to say that if we are to reach more people and also impact on more people, both in the public sector and also in the private sector, how do we leverage technology? Hence why in 2022, we started the development of a web app that basically allows us to connect the utilization, disposal, as well as the recycling of the tires. It's important, especially in the circular economy, that you create a structure that basically closes this loop from the manufacturing to the consumption as well as the disposal. So with this app, we're able to have our individuals as well as our recycling partners initiate disposal. Then we have logistic partners who can pick up these tires from them, get them down to our facility, get paid, and also and then also initiate a conversion process. What that means is you tell us on that app what you want to recycle your waste tires into, and we go ahead and do that. Upon recycling, the finished product is dispatched to you, and we can also issue you a recycling certificate on that website. But for us, what was most critical with the app that was developed is how do we extract as much data as possible. One of the things that is very much lacking in Nigeria, we're getting better on it, is data. And data these days is a currency. You need it. It is very, very important. Also, through the use of process improvement, ensuring that across our processes, we are able to continue to develop, continue to improve. We take our feedback from our customers, both our retail customers as well as our corporate customers. We take that very seriously, because if you're going to innovate, right, it shouldn't be a one-off thing. In order for it to be sustainable, it has to be continuous. And if it is going to be continuous, you must take feedback from users, from partners, from whosoever you are collaborating. It is very important that you take their feedback very seriously and then use it to improve on your processes, which is what we also do at Free Recycle. Also, product development. I've said this a number of times. When you're buying an equipment, please keep in mind that you don't have to do something from scratch to innovate. You can take an existing technology and basically come up with the recycling of waste tires. It's not manufactured in Nigeria. It's not manufactured anywhere in Africa at the moment. The equipment, if you're recycling waste tires, your equipment has to either come from Europe or from China. But when you're buying this equipment, nobody tells you how to make it a business. It is solely up to you to run that equipment, make it a business, and make it a profitable business, right? But over the past 3 years, I work with a fantastic team, right? We'll be 4 years this October. We've been able to take it not just a step further, 2, 3, 4 steps further by using this equipment to actually manufacture different things outside of others, different from what you would typically even find in China. Yes, this might come at an additional cost, but we know that when it comes to consumption of anything, people have unique tastes. You can't have a client come up to you to say, I see this, it is nice, but can you do it for me? Also, collaboration of innovation. We have been very, very fortunate at Free Recycle to collaborate. Climate action is not just a buzzword. It's a huge phenomenon going on right now globally. And unless we work together, unless we come up with creative. I've spoken quite into footwears actually. So aside from flooring solution, insulation materials, as well as transportation flooring, we also recently went into their waste tires to students in public primary and public primary and secondary school in Oyo State. And also during the production process of these sandals, we've also been able to impact on the community by training youth as well as on sustainability, empowering the local community and training them. I think I'll just stop right there. Summarized what we do as Free, but it is important to stress, just like I said at the beginning, that with innovation, Nigeria can go really far. However, it is important that the government creates an enabling environment so that we are able to show the global community, the world, what can come out of Nigeria aside from its people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dolapo. So we want to use this opportunity to recognize the sponsor on Nick Store, Total Energy. So I want you to clap your hands together for Total Energy. They have been very supportive and are always interested in innovation that has to do with sustainability and renewable energy. So we are very proud that we have innovators that are actually representing here in Nigeria, and I believe in the wider space, of course. So right now we're going to be inviting all our Nick Stock presenters to the stage. So we're going to put together our questions. So whatever you want to ask them, you want to know more, you want to be part, you want to invest, you want to sponsor, you want to learn, I think it's time to put your questions together. So I'll be calling up on stage Mr. Adeomi Adeniji, co-founder, CEO of School NG. He'll be moderating the session. And also joining him are the presenters, Dozie Igwilo and Ifedolapo Runshewe. I hope I did it right this time. So please come up on stage. Clap your hands together. Encourage them as they come up on stage.
Thank you. No.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Adeomi Adeniji, and I'll be moderating the segment. Thank you so much. So here with me, I have Ifedolapo Runshewe and Dozie Igwilo. A round of applause for them. So I've got some few questions for you. Before I go ahead, I could remember those days while I was still growing. I would pick up tire from the streets and roll tire down the streets. Probably I'll be on boxers then, and my singlet, I roll tire down the streets, and we'll start playing with tires. And then during camp activities, we gather tires together and we start burning tires, and it causes air pollution in our society. I think for the Lapo, you've done so much. This is very much innovative, and it is an added advantage to the society. Thank you so much. So I've got some few questions for you, and I would go ahead with my questions. Okay, so in a country like Nigeria, where waste management infrastructure is still developing, how has Federal Recycle managed to build partnerships or navigate regulatory challenges to advance your mission?
Thank you very much. A country like Nigeria, where the waste management infrastructure is still growing, it's important to, I think we can't stress enough the importance of collaboration, strategic collaboration, as well as partnerships. For us at Free Recycle, what we've done basically is to de-risk, right? The mistake that a lot of businesses make is attempting to do it all at once. You are the same person collecting this waste, and you are still the same person handling logistics. You are the same person trying to recycle it. You can't do it all alone. So what we've done is to build this network of people who have been very, very, they've played like a crucial role in ensuring that the business stays sustainable. And aside from that as well, you can't also rely on just a single market entry. What we've also done is to look at the B2B, the business-to-business angle. What are the corporates that we should be working with? Corporates with like-minded, who are like-minded and who align with our goals. And this has gone a long way in helping us. Also, in terms of regulatory, I said, government can either make or destroy your business. So it is important that you don't see them as a threat, but rather as someone you should be working with. At Free, we have very good relationship with our regulators, with government agencies, Ministry of Environment, both at the state and the federal level, also with Nestle, as well as some international organizations. And like I said, a waste management sector still needs a lot of structuring, as well as policies to drive the activity. So we work with them. We're working very, very closely with them to develop this policies. Also, even helping in seeing how we can create more awareness, because you have these policies. Most times, people don't even know that they exist. So you need to work closely with them. So basically, it's a joint effort, between the private sector and the public sector.
Thank you so much. In 1 minute, are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, so in 1 minute, Quadloop has a unique approach to reducing environmental impact by using 70% of materials sourced from electronic waste. What inspired you to adopt the circular economy model, and what challenges have you encountered in sourcing and repurposing e-waste for your products?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So the inspiration is, it's clear. If you want to manufacture in Nigeria successfully today, you have to consider first your key resource material, your raw materials. She's been speaking about what Ife has been doing with tires. If she wanted to probably import brand new tires to manufacture paving blocks, it won't make any sense, right? So you have to leverage what is on ground. And in Nigeria, we are blessed because we have, a very huge population, and of course we have a growing younger population. So leveraging electronic waste for us was a go-to. If we wanted to import components from China, make sense at all. So we needed to look inward, sense out of the business.
Thank you. My second question is, is solar energy compatible in Nigeria, particularly for underserved communities?
Okay, if you look at my slide, the whole idea started from the fact that, right, the whole concept came about providing basic and affordable lighting for the underserved. So what we've done so far is that we wanted to would suit a particular target market, but something that would create good value, like people would be happy to put down their money, right? Product that would not just look like a random local product, right? We're building a product that looks international standard, right? So this is why we have already started financial factors currently in Nigeria. For us to have our products to these underserved communities, we have tried to change our model. We recently came up with a model whereby we'll have to install charging stations. So instead of people in a certain community, let me say Igbo Taku community now in Ondo State, maybe the community dwellers wake up in the morning to charge their phone in a particular shop and pay 200 naira. Give them the product and they come to charge, let's say at 200 naira, right? And it takes about 3 days. It lasts about 2 to 3 days. That way, they are more independent as opposed to just charging their mobile phone. They are having to charge the lantern that provides them the means to charge their phones.
Thank you so much. Fedolapo, I've got one more question for you. In a minute, sustainability is often...
Sustainability is at the core of our business model, hence why we run the rubber, you have the steel, you have the fiber. We have uses for all three parts, hence why it's a zero waste recycling process. The rubber is what we repurpose into new molded product. The steel we also recycle as well. We have a steel smelting plant. And then to stress that the tire recycling sector has the capacity to help the cement manufacturing sector decarbonize. Aside from the fiber that we supply to them, the rubber also has a calorific value, which can also be used in their alternative fuel system, because the world globally, we're starting to see a shift to other sources of energy. And then looking into the future for fuel cycle as well, we're looking also at alternative fuel like pyrolysis, but only with technology that we can guarantee that there's very, very minimal emission from the process.
Thank you so much. Now to the audience, if you've got questions, you can else.
I mean, we have
Okay, sorry, somebody's raising his hand here, please.
Thank you. My name is Ife Sinacho Tazi. I am an expert in sustainable food system. From the first speaker and the first presentation, what we are actually creating is looking like what I want to do, but yours is, and I found out that not just food are prepared. So my question is, I should take to implement this idea. Thank you.
Okay,
Sorry, who's that question addressed to?
myself.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I'm a proper balanced meal. You want to convert to food because you wouldn't want to start serving people food waste. Did I get that correctly? Maybe you weren't audible because it sounded like you. Don't worry, hold him. The mic is coming in.
I'll give them servants. They have leftover food. Introduce myself. I said I am expert about sustainable food system. I work with an organization that is into integrated process. They source their raw material down to your table, what you now take in. Now, my question is this. There are also organizations that their food system does not accommodate sustainable method, like what she said, what they are doing there. Yes, their process give you a finished product, but they still have waste. For instance, the woman produce families, organization that can use it. It will give it to a bread company for fortification, and that bread will be high in fiber, high in protein, and very nutritious, providing high balanced diet. For idea, what are the XYZ steps? Maybe both of you can just
so
help.
you are taking the food waste and you are taking it somewhere else. It's not a food waste to energy chain, right? Because food is very, very important to look out. Like I said, unlike there's a lot involved, right? Initially, I mean limited in terms of nutrition, and you have to do your research very well, so you don't end up feeding people things that will cause them cholera and other airborne diseases. Okay. Thank you.
Next person, please.
Good morning. Thank you. Memorable, impactful initiatives you are both leading.
Next person, please.
Good morning. Thank you. Memorable, impactful initiatives you are both leading. And my question will be to Missy. Have a factory issues that do exist.
And although we started Operation Plan first, also look at possible OEM suppliers, and then most importantly, funding as well. Waste tire recycling as well. Waste tire recycling is capital intensive, and with the wins without telling you how much of a challenge. And I think I'm happy that I'm not just the only one here. We have a colleague here as well. The recycling space especially is a tough one, and you have to have a lot of resilience, and you also cannot do it alone. I've been fortunate to have people in my team who also believed in what we're trying to do, because back in 2020 we were not trying to start a bank. If you were trying to do what they were doing, we were basically trying to do what nobody else was doing in Nigeria as well as in West Africa. So anytime we approached people asking for their support and funding, they always looked at us like we were crazy. But what was most important was, that small team of people who believed strongly in what we're trying to do. And I think that has been the main thing that has kept us here, as well as the resilience that we've also had as well to keep us going. Thank you.
Can we please give them a round of applause? Please, can you please give them a round of applause to encourage them? Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dozie. Thank you, Ifedolapo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please, can we have the speakers just stay back? Can we put our hands together and celebrate them one more time? Thank you very much. You know, earlier when we started the program, we talked about how easy it is to talk about things, but the real work is in getting them done. And I think that Ife and Dozie are a typical example of people who are actually doing the work, right? Or walking the talk, like they say. So well done, truly inspiring the work that you've done. Would like to call on Mr. Tony Aja, and of course a representative of Total Energies, to come forward as we present something to our panelists this morning. Thank you very much.
Just to add, this section is sponsored by Total Energies. They've been doing a lot in promoting eco-friendly solutions. So I want to invite Mrs. Jane Spiff, these ones. A hand of applause, please.
Thank you. For you. So can we have a picture as well? So ma'am, if you could just step to the side. Ma'am, just step to the side and let's just take a picture of the moment. No, with them, yes. All right, thank you very much. I hope we're having a fantastic time so far. If you are, can I just see a wave of hand? Exactly. And I hope our minds are being challenged. You know, sometimes we're able to think about ideas and then there'll be the question of how can this be? Has anyone ever been there? You think about something and you're like, is this even possible? But when you have in the room people who have been able to live through that process, I think that's a reassurance that whatever it is that you're thinking about at the moment, that big idea that you might be thinking about is possible. At this moment, we're going to be moving on to the next session, but just before we do that, I'd like to recognize someone special in our midst. Can we make welcome Mr. Ruben Moka, who is the Director of Public Affairs, NCC. Welcome, sir. Can we please put our hands together? We're so delighted to have you in our midst this morning. Very quickly, we're going to be moving on now to the next panel session. And we're going to be having a representative as well of the NCC come up. This session is tagged Empowering Nigerian Youths Through the Digital Economy. Empowering Nigerian youths through the digital economy. And I'm excited because I see lots of young people in the room. Even people who are older these days acknowledge that they are youths. Am I right or right? Right. Forward to moderate this session. And while we do that, let's also make welcome Olatokunbo Oyeleye, all right, NCC. Can we put our hands together for him as he comes forward? Thank you very much.
Okay. I hope I will be able to have an interesting conversation. So, I recall that just like a decade or two ago, usually when young people finish, or amazingly in 2024, or let's say, I'd rather say in the last 6-7 years, it has become different. We find out that a lot of Nigerians, young Nigerians are out there creating something for themselves, you know, using, going online, creating legal jobs for themselves. And so there are not so many of us out there looking for one job from one office or to the other. So I think that is something that has really uplifted this generation and it's improved digital literacy among Nigerians.
And thank you very much, Engineer Babagana Digima, as he has already said. I'm the head New Media and Information Security Department of the NCC. And I'm happy to be here, and apologies for my colleague who couldn't make it this morning. One thing about digital economy, like he has said, how are we helping the youth, or how are we helping the youth partake in the digital economy? Well, basically for the NCC, we recognize that, of course, the digital economy is nothing more than our current economic activities, but which has been, of course, facilitated by digital technologies. And recognizing that, we look at so many areas. We're not restricted to technology alone as a commission. The first thing that we did as a commission when the ministry was even renamed to the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy then was to create a digital economy department which is charged with that function, that responsibility. So we as a commission will recognize that early enough. And of course that department is dedicated to everything digital economy. And some of the things we are doing, of course, from helping the youth in trainings, in supporting them through hackathons, in supporting Nigerian innovators in various ways. For example, we supported innovators to global activities or global shows, such as GITEX, to LEAP, to so many international events where we see that, yes, we have things that we can showcase. And I'm happy some of those, of course, have even earned those prizes. I think in 2023, we supported we supported about 9 companies. And out of those 9, 4 $300,000. So the NCC has been at the forefront trying to help just something you do with computers alone. But it's also things that ordinarily people are doing, and you see a need for some change. And to buttress that, I think I even met a Nigerian in Saudi Arabia during the LEAP about food waste, and I remembered that guy vividly. He has set up a company that is using black flies, the larvae of black flies, to convert food waste into protein for animal feed. And he's doing very well. He has been taken in fact, by one of the universities in Saudi Arabia, and they've provided him with accommodation and facilitated him to even help their own university. And he's a Nigerian. So it's some of those things. You look, anywhere you see innovation, I think you should just look at it from that perspective, not necessarily having to do with computers or whatever. So innovation is everything, and digital economy is the normal things you do. People that have Uber, of course, is normal taxi drivers, for example. But then you now put the element of the technology that facilitates that, so it becomes a part of the digital economy. So similar things with ordering food and things like that. All those ones are basically the same things that we do before, but now it has been facilitated by some form of technology, and that's what we need, knowledge of coding, or you need what's facilitated by digital computers and so on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Digima. I see that while you were talking about, responding to my first question, you did highlight on some of the things that the NCC is doing and is currently doing with young Nigerians. But I would like to know, because it seems like a lot of innovations have been sort of restricted to the cities and the urban areas. So what exactly, or can you just highlight on some of the things that the NCC is doing in the rural areas? Because whether we like it or not, as much as we are doing in the urban areas, the rural areas, youths in the rural areas have to be carried along as well.
Thank you very much. Again, yes, he's right. A lot of our focus as a commission, what we provide, or the services that people normally see, are based in the cities. But then another aspect of the NCC is the Universal Service Provision Fund, which is part of the NCC that is charged with responsibility of so on to the the rural areas are part. But then when you say underserved, it could also be within the cities, but it's a community or group of people that don't have access. And we recognize that, and we've done a lot of work. SF has done tremendously lots of projects in almost virtually every secondary school in Nigeria. And apart from that, then we also have other projects like the community resource centers that we provide in communities. We've also done quite a number of work with people with disabilities, and we provided facilities, we provided them services, we've also provided them tools that are geared towards them, that help them in accessing the digital technologies. So we're not restricted to cities, but we're also doing a lot of things. Of course, we're also, one of the key things that we're doing is to see that our services have reached the rural areas. And for that, a lot of our effort has also gone into subsidizing deployment of base stations in those areas. So the Commission is working both for the city dwellers as well as for the rural people. So thank you.
You see, you know, the thing is, digital economy has is a lot of Nigerian youths are leaning towards that direction, and then, but the problem they sometimes, because I speak to some of them, is usually the partnership or the response they get from governments. Do you think that government is really supportive enough for the young people to create something out of nothing, going through the digital economy?
Well, you see, with government, most of the time is we also have disagreements within the government cycles. Of course, you need things that will always support people. Number one, you need, for example, before I became head of New Media in the indigenous telecom sector, which is a body created also under NCC, which is now under youths, especially people with help them set up companies, for example, mentor them in a way that we say, you know what, your idea is good, you can do so many things, but you also need that formal individual or as a company, because normally when you're dealing with government or even when you're dealing with any corporate body, they will want to see that thing that's identified people. We mentor them. If you can't get a company registered, you can at least get an enterprises or a legal name that will register you as an individual, or you can come under hubs that support you to develop that idea. So all those ones options are things that, of course, everybody needs to know. There are lots of talented people, youths especially, but I think they need that mentorship. And I think